Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So I just made a video of all my bikes and talking how reliable this Thruxton-R is. Well, it's reliable, and I did talk about the oil leak, but I thought the oil leak was from the drain bolt. It's not the drain bolt. It looks like it's somewhere here on the shaft. And I was looking online, it doesn't appear that there's a seal or anything like that for there. There's just a washer back there behind that. And well, I guess I get to take this apart today, and I will see exactly where it's leaking from so I can get the right parts, hopefully, and get this back together. So I decided to make a video of this, bring you guys along for the ride. If somebody else has this issue with theirs, hey, this is what's going on. So the leak hasn't been terrible, but it's been marking its territory. As you can see, all these little spots are where it's been parked, and honestly, it's not acceptable to me. So I've got to clean all this up. Okay, guys, as you can see right there, that appears to be where the leak is going, right there on that shift. The shaft comes out from the clutch cover here. You can see it's kind of got some oil and grease, so there's a little drop forming right here on that, and then it's just been splashing back onto that one when you ride, and it's just been getting everything kind of nasty. So I think the leak is back in there. That's what it appears to be to me. And so now I have to get this chain, or not chain case, I want to call it a chain case, but this clutch cover off. And the first thing I need to do is, looks like I need to remove our shifter here, then remove the linkage from here, and then remove this. But before I do any of that, I'm going to drain the oil. That way I don't have a huge mess happening here. And it looks like I've got to disconnect all of this as well. I've never worked on this bike before other than doing an oil change, so let's get to it, I guess. We'll see what's happening. Alright, so now I've got this off here. I've got the oil drained out the bottom, and I'm going to take off this clutch cover. I think that should be fine on. We'll find out, I guess. I should probably make a diagram of this so I know exactly where each bolt goes in case some of these are different. So let me do that. Okay, so you see that? That is identical. Wow, you can't even tell a difference. So I drew this up, that way I can kind of keep all my bolts in the right spot everywhere. I'll poke holes in these and keep all the right bolts in the right holes. All right, these bottom two bolts right here on either side of the shift arm, I think those have to be replaced every time that they're removed. I think I read that somewhere on the factory manual, so we'll see what they look like when I pull them out. All right, so I've got all the bolts out of here. I'm leaving this connected down here because I think I can just set this whole clutch cover to the side. I've got my very, very deadly accurate, looks like you're right there in the clutch cover right now, doesn't it? Representation with all my bolts in the right places. So these, they might be stretch bolts. That might be why they say you replace them. But I think most of them are all the same size, but there's a couple, yeah, there's some that are different sizes. These are those two small ones right there. Then as we get towards this side over here, we got some longer bolts. So glad I did this. That way you know what goes where and there's no guessing. All right, so I looked at the service manual. It only has removing these screws here. There's pry points here. There's one here. And I imagine there might be some down there that are made to get like a flathead in and pry yours. All right, so I removed the clutch cable, and let's see if this wants to start coming. There we go. I believe that is our washer right there. It fell down. So, well, there's the inside. Our gasket has separated. It's torn anyway, so we'll have to clean all this up, clean all that surface up, get a new gasket, Going to get a new washer as well. There's also, interesting, there's a needle bearing on the inside of this cover. But it also looks like there's a seal right there. So I'm going to see if I can't get a replacement seal, because I bet that's what's failed. Well, I know that's what's failed. And what's interesting is that seal right there wasn't on any diagrams I was looking up. Maybe I was looking wrong, I don't know. Now here's a good look on the inside of the clutch cover for a Thruxton-R, if anybody wants to know what it looks like. There you go. So now I've got to do homework, see if I can't find that seal, get a new washer, get a new gasket here, and then these two bottom bolts down here, get two new replacement ones, because you're supposed to replace those. So if we're going to do something, let's just go ahead and do it right. So this is the seal that is back there. That just kind of pried out. So that's the back side, that's the front. Apparently that needle bearing came from Slovakia. It says Slovakia. All right, it's hard to tell in the Triumph parts diagram which one it was. They had two similar looking seals. This one was called a dust seal, then this one I don't remember what they called it, but I guess that's the part number right there if anybody is doing this job. So match it up, it matches perfectly to that one. I went ahead and ordered both because I'd rather have an extra seal for something that I might possibly need or might not need, but it beats having it now and then, or ordering the wrong one and then having to wait on the right one to come in. All right, I'm going to get some assembly grease and grease around the outside of this and then push it into place. So I'm just putting a little bit of a light layer of grease on there. Then I'll do the inside as well. There you go. That way it makes a nice seal. Should just press in there. Alright, I am happy with that. Now I have to get this back on the bike. Alright, back over here we have our brand new gasket that's going to go there. I've cleaned this surface off very well. I scraped it first with like a plastic gasket scraper like that, and then whatever this doesn't get, I just use a straight razor and I scrape it. Just careful not to gouge or nick the case there. All right, there we go. So this is going to go like this. There we go. And there's a couple of dowels there and there. I don't think there's any on the bottom, but these dowels help, well, one, they help hold this in place, and two, they help locate the cover, the clutch cover as well when we put that back on. Washer right here goes behind it. Go like this, right there. And this sets against a circlip or snap ring right behind it. So as we can see back here, this bit, that's going to catch onto this, and this rotating it's going to help it catch. So I'm going to start it holding it out when I'm putting it on, then let it fold in. A little bit of wiggling back and forth. Alright, so we've got our clutch cover on. I went ahead and hooked up the clutch cable. Yeah, getting this bit on, it feels like it's wrong, but it's actually right. It feels like it's not moving as much as it's supposed to, but once you hook the clutch cable up and pull on your clutch feels a bit closer to what it'll be like. I just have to bolt everything down, then that'll be fine. I think we'll be good on that. So now I have to put all the right bolts in here. So I have my very to scale and very good replica here. Also, another thing is behind this, there's nothing. So if you just take this off, it's just a badge, and that's all that is. So I need to tighten that back down. But these two bolts right here, Triumph says they're encapsulated bolts and they must be replaced. I think they might be something like stretch bolts or something like that. So I have two replacement ones right here. Triumph. And if it'll focus, if somebody's doing this job, there's your part number right there. And now it's time to get all of these on, all these bolts on. I'm going to get them all finger tight first, and then I'm going to follow in the correct pattern and the correct torque. And where am I getting all this information? Good question. I found a shop manual online, and so I have it up on my TV over here, right there, and then I'll be following it on my TV. And I got my mouse right here, so I can just scroll, well, go, and then I can scroll. So there's the tightening order right there, and then just how to gives you things to look at when you're buttoning up. So certain bolts are in sequence to 10 Newton meters, and then retighten. Then you fit your clutch cable bracket and tighten the fixings 14 and 15 to 10 Newton meters. So everything's going to 10 Newton meters, and then has you recheck a few as well, retighten a few. So I will start with this right here. I'm going to leave these two old ones in here, that way I don't possibly get them confused. So I'm going to leave these two old encapsulated ones there. I think they're stretch bolts. And then I'm going to start right here and then just work my way around, getting these just in by hand, finger tight, and then I'll start following the sequence after that. I don't see a point of showing all this on video because it's me just putting bolts in by hand. But that's why this is so nice, is because you can see some are different lengths. This side over here seems like it has longer length bolts. Alright, so I've got all the bolts torqued down to spec. Now we have to put in our gear change. So if we look really closely, I don't know if we can focus on it, but there's a little dot right here, and there's also a little dot right here on the gear changing right there. So we have to line those up together. And also, while I had this off, I wiped it down to clean it up a little bit as well. So, alright, so I've got that pushed into place. Finger tighten that, finger tighten this, and then I'll tighten everything down to spec. Alright, that's tight. I've tightened that down. Everything's tightened. We've got our new seal in right there. Then now I can continue on with what started this all, is the oil change. I will pull the old filter off, put a new filter on, add oil, and then we will take this for a test ride. I did start the bike just a minute ago, a few minutes ago actually. After I added the oil, all that was done. And right now there's no leak at the new seal that we did. So I think this was a success. We'll just have to take it out for a nice little long test ride and see how it goes. Alright guys, well that's it on today's video. We successfully fixed an oil leak on my Triumph Thruxton-R. I went ahead and changed the oil as well while I was doing that, lubed up the chain. I'll check the tire pressures here in a minute, and I'll take it for a ride either later today or tomorrow, kind of shake down, see how everything is performing. So that's it. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I reply to every comment. Come on, comment, talk to me. Tell me what I did wrong, what I could have done better. But that's it. Thank you, and you have a good day.